I remember how to do this. Click here, copy, here, close, link, paste, send. Oh, wait. Myself. Okay. Let's get my boys in here. We're going to have Steve West, Clayton Merrick going to be joining us tonight. Oh my God, I'm fucking massive. It's good to see y'all. It's been a little minute since we've been on a live, huh? Let's go ahead and copy link. Hold the link. Click open in browser. Choose your browser. Okay, let's do the same thing with Mr. Clayton here. Hold the link. Click choose your browser. Choose your browser from there. All right, I see Mr. Steve in the building. Everybody, there he is. Oh, and he's wearing the shirt. Let's go.
You know I had to represent for you, baby. Come on now.
Let's go. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Mr. Clayton Merrick's going to be joining us.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Sent him the link. Now, what we need to do, William Harold. Who's that? I can't read the last name because the thing's in my way. Pennington. Will Pennington. Thanks, bro. It's good to see you, man. Okay, we want to get this to our Facebook so we can try to get anybody on there. So we're going to go. Boom, easy. Share, Facebook. Okay, I'm going to tag Steve. I'm going to tag Clayton. That's done. Now we'll go put that in the chat. Sweet. Okay, cool. So some girl just posted on Facebook that Ron Flanick was not added. Am I wrong? I thought I put him in there. Yeah, $221.99. Okay. I love whenever Leander posts or whenever Leander sees an arm wrestling post, he laughs at it and goes, "Oh, Clayton's in here."
What's up, baby?
What's up, guys?
I can hear you loud and clear. You might want to turn your. Are you using your phone? You might want to turn your phone though. Does it change for you? Will it change? No, it's not changing. So I guess just do it whatever easiest way for you. Or maybe it's the other flip the other way, man. Maybe I don't know.
Do you have the automatic rotation set on your phone?
Or locked.
Let me see. Shouldn't. Maybe that's off.
See if we can get anybody else on here. I said I got 4 more spots left.
There we go.
There it is.
There you go.
Now I can see how massive you are, bro.
It's too
Ah,
big.
yeah. Getting there.
Oh my goodness, through the flannel. So what's up, boys? You guys get your workouts in today or what?
No, I got some elbow pain, so I'm trying to let heal.
Oh yeah.
Tomorrow I'll be playing though. I'll be playing tomorrow.
Are you
I had,
coming to practice?
Yeah, I'm going to your practice.
Okay, cool.
I had too much work to do today, so
Yeah. Oh, there he goes. He's got the bands
getting-
on.
yeah.
Greg Brown says, "Who is Mikhail?" Mikhail is he's the new guy who just moved here from Ukraine. He's got a big, lengthy beard, and I believe he's got hair similar to mine, where it's only down the middle. Either that or he's bald. I can't remember. But doesn't speak very good English. He's only been here for about a month and a half. His first practice was at the Hope Church, the big one that we had, and he's been to like the last 3. He'll be there at my practice tomorrow. I tagged him, or I showed his handle in the chat, Greg, because it won't let me tag him. His name's in Russian, so I literally can't at whatever because my keyboard won't let me. So. Or else I would have tagged him in the chat when you called him out. But I got him on Instagram too, and I'll send you his Instagram. But he's really good left-handed. He's really strong left-handed, and he's getting there right-handed. He just hasn't been pulling for longer than a year or so. But he's Ukrainian, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be.
Still really
What's his
cool.
weight?
Came from there, and was pulling with people out there, and then found this group here.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Well, and not only that, man. So the night of the potluck, when everybody came over, he was the first person there, and he was the last person to leave. So I got to spend a lot of time with him. Once everyone was gone, him and Lewis stayed for probably like an extra hour, and I got to hear his story and everything, dude. And that dude is an inspiration in himself, and what he's going through currently, and what he went through just to get here, bro. So. If you ever get some time to pick that dude's brain, it might take you an extra 10 minutes because his English isn't so good, but it is definitely well worth it because he's a warrior, dude. It's the definition of him is a warrior. I'm trying to look at his weight right now for you. His weight, I have him at 220, between 220 and 199. I need to personally ask him what his weight is, but I'm pretty sure he's fairly close to us. If anything, he's below. He would probably make the 198 class, but I don't know that for certain. But he's ranked 10. I have him right above Greg Brown. So it makes sense that Greg's going to call him out. And I'll be honest with you, it might be a good match right-handed. Left-handed, I think it would be a better match because they're both better left-handed. But this is not a left-handed ranks match, so it don't matter.
I felt Mikhail with both arms. And I felt Greg with both arms also. I think right arm, I agree with you, John. I think it's a great match between the two of them. Left arm, I think Mikhail has a little bit more. Mikhail could probably beat me left arm, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's strong left-handed, dude.
Yeah.
He comes from training with people like Rustam Babayev and Taras Ivakhan when he was in Ukraine. And these are world champions for years. And it was at his very beginning before he left, and he was helping them with like some bodybuilding stuff apparently. And he was helping them with training as an arm, and then started to learn stuff. And then obviously had to leave. But yeah, a gangster for sure. A gangster. And, to say something about the left hand, if anybody's watching that cares, John Carlson had messaged me whether or not I'm going to do a left-handed rankings system. And I don't really know. It's not that I don't want to, it's just that I don't feel like there's anywhere near as much movement on the left as there is on the right. You see left-handed callouts very seldomly, and usually it's the same ass people. It's the same people who are wanting to push their left, and they're focused on their left. And to me, like, no offense, that's great, and I love those people, Rad Rob, John Carlson. but there's such a small, minute amount of you that I'm gonna make a full list of. I'm gonna make a full list of 7 of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Makes
Makes
sense.
sense.
So I don't know. I mean, if like I told John Carlson, left arms matter. Shout out to Rad Rob, baby. Let's go. No, and they do. Like, once again, I told John Carlson, if enough movement happens and there's enough people that show that they want that, then I will. But, you know, until then, right now, I feel like everybody's really focused on the right. Greg, practice tomorrow at my house, 3 p.m., sir, in Mesa. You said what, Clayton?
I was just laughing at Robert's comment. Left arms matter.
Yeah, right.
It just popped up.
Like, we all participate left-handed, so don't get me wrong. Like, I'll take it seriously, but at the same time, you know, as far as rankings go, I think we all, and this is kind of another part with the whole right-hand rankings. I think we all, for the most part, know who's who and who does what and who's the man in their weight class left-handed and that kind of stuff. And so Stephen Olmsted had made a good point in the chat. He had put, like, I don't know that I'll be able to make all the call outs. My name's going to drop and stuff. Now that I'm in charge of this stuff, like, yeah, but at the same time, I'm not going to move Ben Freeman ahead of Stephen Olmsted just because he calls him out and he doesn't respond.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Like, if we want this to make sense and we don't want it to be a clown show, we don't want it to be a circus, then I'm going to keep it the way it is. And the way it is until someone pins Steven's arm, then that's what I want to see happen. That's how I know someone can beat somebody. Now I can get a little bit deeper into, like, the whole tournament thing and why Clayton, you made a very good point. Fresh for fresh, number 1. How big is a class, number 2. A really bad referee can completely shit on your day. There's too many variables that say that wasn't a true win. And then number 5 is adjustments in a super match are massive.
100%. Yep. Yeah.
To be able to lose the first match and then to come out in the second round and then win, or to make it to make it a war because you made that adjustment, means everything in the world. It could completely change the game. So one round to another, to a second round, could completely change everything. And when you have other players in the game, like not fresh for fresh, to me, there's too many variables when we're talking about it. Now, if it's just obvious, or if it's just, you know, one of those things, then obviously, you know, I'm going to make it right. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm not, like I said, I don't want it to be a circus. I don't want it to be a big clown show where it's like a big free for all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was going to be my main argument too, was the adjustments in a super match matter.
They do.
Because, yeah, everybody tries their main move in round 1, and if it doesn't work, then it's off to B and C, you know. But and those could change the game. So, yeah.
I totally agree 100%.
I guess my only other question, just pertaining to what you were saying, like, obviously Stephen Olmsted, like, top tier, right?
Yeah.
But if Ben Freeman was to call out Stephen Olmsted, and you said, obviously, you're not just going to put Ben Freeman in front of Stephen Olmsted until he pulls Stephen Olmsted's arm, what is the time allotted that Stephen has to be able to give that match? Because let's say, for instance, right, Ron King, I call you out 198. How long you got?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I ain't calling you out.
You said what?
I'm not calling you out, Ron King. Just so we're clear.
No, I put that on the Facebook and in the arm wrestling rankings because I knew that would come up. You've got to give the guy 2 weeks to get his stuff in order, to give you a date, to respond, to say, hey, I'm able to do this on yada yada. I've got X amount. Maybe I've already got a match that you don't know about. Maybe I've already got a vacation plan in the next week and a half. I just broke my left toe.
Sure.
No, I'm teasing,
Right.
but you know how it goes. You know what I mean? So I feel like a 2 week is a good period to at least get an answer to at least figure something out. And if it doesn't, then I said and I'm going to get questions about this too. If you don't respond in the first 2 weeks, or in 2 weeks, that's going to count as your refusal. And everybody in the top 5, well, everybody at their spot, I guess you could say, gets 1 refusal per weight class. To say, like, let's say the number 1 guy is getting called out by the number 17 guy, and it's just because he wants to make a show of it. He's able to say, no, I'm not going to take that match. You get 1 refusal per weight class. You know what I mean?
Cool. Yeah.
Now, another thing with that, which I think is just down the pipeline, which needs to happen, which either of you are more than welcome to, because I trust both of your guys' opinions and I don't have a single person to it yet. I'll probably add the homeboy Lewis because he's the homie. But other than that, I would think maybe Edo, who's also very active and wherewithal as far as knowing everyone's strength levels. But we got to come up with a committee of some sort so that we can know off of voting, off of more than one opinion, all these kind of things. Because I don't want it to come to the So Strong group chat to where votes, that's how we take votes, or that's how we go to all that, because there's too many keyboard, I'm not going to say any names, but there's too many keyboard warriors in there that don't necessarily know what's going on, and they're just in the group chat. I want the people who have felt a majority of Arizona. They know, they're humble, they're unbiased, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? So
for sure. You see what Kevin Grip said? Are we ever going to see John Bellick versus Jesus Monster Martinez?
It's possible. We were supposed to meet up prior to Arizona State. Me and him had talked about it, and that was so long ago. And then I'll give you guys a little inside dirt, a little bit of insideness from Greg. But me and Monster ended up meeting each other on the left hand in Arizona State, and I beat him outside the straps. And Greg is like right there with his phone recording the whole thing because he's pretty sure Monster's going to spank me, right? And I take the top and I top roll him and I get him. And then I look at Greg and I'm like, dude was strong. So Greg had like a perfect video of it and never put it out. And then afterward, like right after that tournament, me and Greg were talking about Monster, and Monster had said to Greg, he got me on the left, but now knowing what I felt, I'm almost 100% sure I'm going to beat him on the right. And I was like, oh. I was like, because my left is not even close to my right. I mean, it's good, but it's not close to my right. My right is way stronger. And so I was thinking to myself, interesting. I wonder how much stronger his right is than his left, because I never got to feel him. But yeah, I would love to. I'm just never going to travel to Mexico for that match. I'm not going to pull somebody in their backyard like that. But then how am I supposed to pull him, because he's got to come to me to pull him in my backyard? You know what I mean? So if he wants to, I'm open. I will take the match whenever he wants. Give me 2 weeks. I'll take it. I'm fucking down.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I don't. I said this in my YouTube video that I just posted. I don't really care to take any like out-of-state super matches. I'd much rather just kind of decimate all of Arizona and let everybody really know, where I lie there. Because I personally think unless you're, and I guess I made the weight class, so I can do whatever I want. I mean, I made the ranking, so I can do whatever I want. But I say until you're top 5 in your class, you probably shouldn't be worried about outside of state weight class or super matches.
I'd agree with you. I'd say if you're going to do anything, compete nationally with the team from Arizona and travel with them if you can.
Correct.
Those are highlights of my first year in arm wrestling, man. Going to Utah, going to Colorado, going to Nevada and jumping on a plane with these guys. And the camaraderie is just absolutely insane. It's all about the community, and working together and helping each other. And all these new guys, again, if you're not in the top 5, I'm new too. Don't get me wrong. I'm in this discussion. Okay. But if you're not in the top 5, and you can make it happen, show up to practices as much as possible, make it to national, state championships if you can, especially if they're close to the four corners, if you want to start pulling people outside of your state.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that a lot of people are looking for the limelight before they're ready. Fuck yeah, all that sounds good. John is legendary. I'll take it. No, I just think, like, humble yourself a little bit, make your journey a little bit more realistic, let's see who you can beat in your small scale before you start doing this. You know what I mean? Because when you start doing this before you're ready to, I feel like it's really easy to just not want to do it anymore because you're starting to take L's. You want to win in this. You want to see yourself win. Shout out to one of my very, 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 very good friends. Someone who has been in the sport quite some time now. I mean, not a long time, but some time now. And who I could not be more motivated by, because I don't know if I've ever seen him win a super match. And this is William Bishop. This dude takes super match after super match after super match after super match. He'll lose and come back, lose and come back, lose, come back. And I can tell him, and I can tell everybody he's a better man than I am, because you can ask Edo. There was a point in time where I had lost like 3 super matches in a row, and I was like, I don't think this is for me. I don't think I'm very good at this, So that's why I say, like, make sure your path is enjoyable. Make sure you love, these times that you're, once again, Colorado, Nevada. It's not all about the wins and the losses. It's about traveling and having a camaraderie and a brotherhood and these kind of things that you do it with. And when you have that, you're probably not going to lose. When you have training partners and you got people motivating you, it's really easy to win. It's really easy to win.
Yeah,
it really is. I mean,
Hey, John,
till you get to that open.
just to bring it back to your rankings, and one other thing is, I know you tag people in the So Strong group chat, but it does not let them know that they were tagged. So if there's going to be call outs through that group chat, I'd say probably don't do it through there and message directly.
Absolutely. I think it should probably be everywhere. I think when there's a call out, not only should it be a direct, but it should be in the group chat, should be on Facebook. And then that's why I'm doing this specifically, is because on Fridays, 1 hour every week, there's going to be an opportunity for your voice to be heard.
Yeah.
For you to come on here and to spit your mess and say, hey, I feel this way about this guy. Nothing but respect. But I want to put our arms on the tables, and this is how I want to do it. Because before, it was all left up to me. And I had to, so I don't know, Steve was not a part of this. Clayton, you were. But remember when I did the first super matches, the first Armtillery set of super matches? Well, it was all up to me. I created it all. I was the matchmaker. I was the referee. I was the host. I was everything. And I don't want to do it again because it was too much work. So I'm trying to leave it more up to the people themselves. And I had said this prior in the first time that I did it. I want you guys to leave it in your hands to make the call outs, to make cards. We get 10 call outs. We get 8 call outs. We get 6 call outs. Boom, we got a card. You know what I mean? We got a whole event that we can do, and we can make it a thing. But my thing is, don't make it have to be a thing. If you want to arm wrestle somebody, don't make it have to be on armwrestlingtv.com/YouTube. Like, dude, just go do it. Just
come on the driveway, baby. Let's go.
Right. I'll put it on Armtillery if that's what you need. Is you need it to be recorded, so you'll have your recorded, so you can go back and watch it. You can share it as much times as you want. But what it comes down to is testing yourself. That is the most important thing about this whole entire thing, is you getting out of your comfort zone and saying, man, I've been staring at that number 9 now for a while. And I'm looking at number 8 like a shark in the water. And I know I've pinned him in practice. I've beaten him before. Why am I sitting here at the spot below? I'm going to sit here and complain about it until my name magically moves up a spot. No, it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One other idea is with the left arm, right arm thing is with the 198 class, there's not too many solid lefties, I'd guess, or like top of the heap, unless Rad Rob comes back down, and John. I guess John is our weight, so he'd be at the top. But if somebody wants a left arm match for whatever reason, because they're trying to make it better, and you can make it a ranks match if they're willing to do that too.
I could probably name off like five or six people that are pretty dominant with their left arm around 198 to 210.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say is like that's. I mean, okay, so perfect example. Now give me 3 dominant left-handed people in the 155 class.
Can't do it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Give me 2 dominant left-handed people in the super heavyweight class where their left is better than their right.
Stephen Olmstead.
There's one.
There's one. Two, no. I mean,
Edo? No. Well, Edo's
super
not
heavyweights.
super. He's 220, right?
And same thing. I personally wouldn't rank Edo's left above his right.
Because I remember there for a while. There for a while he was saying his left was better than his right.
Yeah, I mean, he'll tell
might not
you
be anymore.
He'll tell you that, but I think his right has better accolades than his left does.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, once again, the point I'm trying to make is there's not enough left-handed people amongst Arizona for me to put my effort into creating something like a rankings list, because not that this is hard, the rankings is hard, it's just it does take effort, it does take opinion, and it takes observation and all that and these kind of things. And when it comes to the left, that small chunk of what we're talking about is basically everybody. Ron, Rad Rob, John Carlson, Stephen Olmstead.
Marcus is getting up there.
Where's Ron been, dude? Is he still around?
I texted him to come tomorrow, and he said thumbs up. We'll see if that means anything, but
nice.
Yeah. He moved to Maricopa, man. And when he moved to Maricopa, that was when we stopped seeing him. But he also went from living in like a hut of an apartment with like 17 kids and dogs to now having his own house. And like, I can only imagine the freedom that man feels. So hallelujah for him and God bless him. He'll still come right out of here and whoop all our ass. So it don't matter.
Oh yeah.
He ain't wrong.
Yeah.
So, probably about a month or so, I plan to get the left hand and right hand belts for the guys for 198 class. And I was talking on the chat I feel like that belt should be a rank match too. Like you get the belt and the rank, the spot, wherever the spot is with that guy.
I agree. As long as so we'll go kind of in depth with this. That's kind of like your thing that you created and you came up with. So like Greg came up with his Arizona Arm Wrestling League rankings, and then I came up with my Armtillery rankings list. The reason why I called it Armtillery is because I'm branding. God, how many times are you going to ask us, Greg? 3 o'clock, bro. 3 o'clock, bro. 3 o'clock, bro. So Greg's got his own thing, and then the only reason I called it Armtillery is because I'm trying to brand Armtillery as I go amongst my arm wrestling stuff. And if I'm going to do it, I'm going to put my name on that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm doing that, and the reason why I'm doing it is because me and Greg talked about it. When it comes to accuracy, I am a little bit more involved in like day-to-day things. He's got a full-time job that keeps him doing that, and then he's also in Tucson, where a lot of the movement, a lot of the majority of the things that happen are here in Phoenix. So to have a Phoenix representative to me was important. Me and Greg were working on his website together, at one point. But in order for us to change anything, I'd have to call him and spend like 3 hours on the phone with him. And it didn't work out that way. And so what me and Greg came up with just today was he's going to do an overalls list for his league where it's just overalls from the top of the food chain to the bottom. And it's going to be based off his opinion. And then this new one that I just came off, I based and copied and pasted off of Air's weight classes, because so many of us now care about the Air's weight classes that I figured it made more sense for us to go about doing it that way. Now, that's the biggest problem, in my opinion, about this new ranking system, is because it's so spread out. There's so many people who could technically make 2 weight classes that I can only imagine I'm going to hear people come at me. Oh, well, I shouldn't be ranked in this one. I'm actually 2 pounds lighter and I'm in the other. Dude, come on. Like, but you compete. Oh, I'm sorry, Greg. I'm sorry, baby. 3 o'clock, baby. 3 o'clock, baby. Come on. 3 o'clock. I forget what my train of thought is going.
I think those people that you're talking about, they need to look at the fact that the Armtillery rankings is an AZ ranking system that's based on the weight classes that you normally perform in, right? Yeah. And if you're worried about, oh no, I'm higher weight than that. Oh no, I should be in this rank. Just go look at the Aries. Aries is gonna, watch all that stuff. You could be in multiple weight classes with the Aries. And correct me if I'm wrong if you disagree. It's just a thought that it's already so much work that you're doing, John, to put this together for all of us and not asking anything.
It's not Aries. It's Airs.
I've always said Airs, and then someone corrected me and said Aries. I swear. And it was, I'm not going to name any names. Either way, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So Airs rankings will show you up in every weight class that you compete in when you're going to tournaments, right? And when you have super matches, and they want to publicize, your matches when you had a super match or if you went to a tournament.
Right.
I think for the AZ rankings that you're going to be doing, I think it's a little much to ask if they're going to ask to be in multiple weight classes. Just look at where you're weighing in at.
You won't be in multiple weight classes. You will not be listed in 5 weight classes because you weigh 155 pounds, but you've also pulled in the 198 class.
Yeah.
I don't care. How much do you weigh?
Yep.
Right now, what do you walk around at? That's what I care about. That's where you're going to be placed at. If it's a 25-pound weight cut that you're making, how the hell am I supposed to know that you're going to be willing to do that crazy shit?
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Agree. Yeah. I mean, we got a few. Look, I mean, Joseph, obviously, when he's around, he could do 155, 165, 177, 198. He can go to 220 to fight people, but that's for the overalls, like you said, for Greg on the overalls.
So right? What I was saying with that, the beginning of all that, Clayton, about your belts, is that was another reason why I had done all this in the first place, was because there's so much movement. There's so many new guys. There's so much new interest. With the new year, people are motivated as ever. They want to make sure that they're taken seriously. You see John Carlson taking all these matches, getting to the invitational, all this stuff. So I want it to make sense. I want us to all really have a good understanding of who's who and where they lie. And it will oust the people who are not taking it seriously. And that's fine. That's no big deal. But we all know, like I said, who's who and who takes this seriously. So if, Clayton, you want to base your belt off of my rankings, I would be privileged. I would love that. I'm for that. We can come together on that and we can make it a thing. And then if you'd like, my thought is for you to do that as a gift of Arizona Arm Wrestling for the 198s, because it's the weight class that you're in. It makes sense. I love that. But going forward, we should put together arm wrestling fundraisers, arm wrestling tournaments, arm wrestling whatever, to come up with the round robin of entries. 12 people got to put their name into a round robin, and we can have one for every fucking weight class. 155, 87s, 242s, 242 pluses. So everybody feels like they're entitled to it. Arizona's getting big enough to do that kind of stuff, but no one should expect one person to put all the money up for that stuff. So I personally think
I'm willing to do it for my weight class, like you said. I just see there's a lot of people at our weight class, so thought it'd be something cool.
Yeah.
Maybe spark the interest for the rest of the weight classes. But yeah, I'm down to attach it to your rankings list. But it's with the idea that it could still fucking end up in Tucson.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you'd be willing to, if someone beats me. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Would this be the 198 to 188?
I think top weight is 198. So what do tournaments usually are? What?
3-pound weight limit.
3 pound. Yeah. So, you get your clothes 3 pound over on that day. That's all you're granted. And then, weigh in that day. And I want to kind of make it best of 6. Reffing, set grip, ref's grip, whatever you want. If you're the fucking holder of the belt, you decide that shit.
You want to do 6 and not 5?
5, 6, it don't matter. When, I just want to be able to have it to where it's a fucking war. Like, have time to make adjustments. Some people need a little bit more time to make adjustments.
I totally agree, but I think 6 is overkill. I've always thought more than 5 is just like we are beating a dead horse or someone. Or if you do pin someone 3 times and then you come back and win 3 times, I'm just kind of like, is that really accurate? Like, the dude just beat you 3 times in a row and now he's tired. Like, come on. You're just more endurance than the other guy, but it doesn't mean you're stronger. It doesn't mean you're necessarily better. But no, you coming up with the belt stuff, I want to leave that up to you. You can totally make that whatever you want. But I will say for my own thing, if people are going to do call outs throughout the rankings, they're always going to be best of 5. Always, no matter what. If it's a ranking match, it will be best of 5.
Okay. Then
I'll do
the same thing.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah. Whoever holds the belt decides reffing that shit, set grip, ref's grip. I'm not a fan of ref's grip, to be honest, but
I'm not a fan of set grip.
Okay. Now
you're not. Come on over, Steve.
Let's go, baby.
I don't know. But if you're holding the belt, then I got to come play at your rules. You know what I mean?
Same to you.
Same
to you.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. I do think that there should be some formality when it comes to the matches that count for rankings, and especially when it comes to the belts. And what I mean by that is I personally think that you should have to be a certified referee in order to
ref the
belt,
ref that match, and it made sense for a ranking. Because if nobody's there, there's 4 people, and Omar is refereeing it. No offense, but that doesn't count.
Yeah,
that's not a real.
We love you, Omar, and we want to see you do well in your weight class.
I'm using him as an example because he's only been around like a year, and he's knowledgeable. He knows plenty. I would expect him to, in his arm wrestling career, become a referee at some point or sometime if he takes it seriously. But what it comes down to is until you're there. Jake's another example. Jake was reffed plenty of matches. He refs one of these rankings matches. I'm not going to count it because he's not certified even as a junior. You know what I mean? I'm basically a senior level referee. We have Tim Talmadge. We have Reza. We have plenty of people. You have Scott West, who I believe is certified as a junior referee. Edo is licensed as a junior referee. You know what I mean? If it's one of these people who are on paper certified, that's a go. That works. And that's why I said if I'm not present and I don't know and I'm not there, you guys got to DM me the results. Because you can't expect the rankings to change that night or the next day when I didn't even know it happened in the depths of Tucson somewhere, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thing that Corey Miller does with airs, if there's a super match that happens here, send him the results and he updates it. So, yeah, that's more than fair, man.
Yeah. And, that really sucks for places like Tucson because they have a lot of people down there, but I don't think they have a single certified referee. So basically, everybody would have to come down here to have a ranked super match until someone up there does get certified.
What does it take to get
What's up?
What's it like, what, online class, and then you go learn, or what?
So the rankings go junior, senior, advanced senior, master. Okay, master, you've got Leonard Harkless and you've got Sean Boom Hancock. For what I know, those are the only two. Oh, no, and Dave Hicks. I believe Dave Hicks is also a master referee. Those are the only three master referees in all of the United States. There are plenty outside of the United States, but in the United States, I believe those are the only three. Okay. Right underneath master is your advanced senior. I got you, Greg. Give me 1 sec. Right underneath your master is your advanced senior, and your advanced seniors are allowed to give out certifications. So Tim Talmadge would be an example of an advanced senior. Reza would be an example of an advanced senior. These are people who have the ability to certify or promote, meaning I can give you your junior license, was where you start, or I can move you from junior to senior. So when I was in Washington State, I refereed with Dave Hicks. I refereed with Harold Ryden, Anthony Del Antonio, the who's who, Pat Bear, Bill Onofre, Tim Talmadge. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, what more do I need to do to get licensed as senior? And so I asked Tim, and he goes, I would put you as senior. We just need to do the certification test. Okay. Nice. When I took my certification test to get my senior through Leonard Harkless when he was here in Scottsdale, him and Leander Bird were the people who were giving me my certifications, and it was like the worst acting you've ever seen in your entire life. They're like trying to tell me to watch the knuckles, and they're like messing with their elbow like this high up in the air. I'm like, elbow foul. And they're like, but you didn't look at my knuckles. And I'm like, how am I supposed to do that when you're clearly doing like you're making to me, it was just very a spur of the moment. I was the only person there getting certified, and Leander was the only person there that he could use. So it wasn't real. It wasn't official whatsoever. If I would have got my senior based off of that, I would have felt like stupid. I would have been like, that wasn't a real test. That wasn't a real anything. When I went to Washington, you can ask Lewis, before we started. So this is another good point. Junior referees are only down referees. So in a tournament or in a super match, you can only be a down ref as a junior. I'm obviously letting that go for Arizona rankings, or else we'd be screwed. But what I'm saying is, in like tournament settings and super match settings, you can only be junior level until you get to senior. Then, Greg, I'm giving you a link right now. And when you get to that point as a senior, that's when you get to be a head level referee of matches. Okay. So before Washington State, I told Greg straight up, or I told Steve straight up, I go, hey, Jesus. I told Tim, what do I need to do in order to get myself licensed as a senior? He goes, head ref today and kill it. And I had ref for over 3-4 hours that day. I refereed with some of the highest standing referees in all of arm wrestling. To me, that's a much better test than Leonard and fucking Leander off on the sides trying to rush through to get me, you know what I mean? 7 questions, whatever. It was the dumbest thing in the world. So in my opinion, you're looking at a senior level referee when it comes to knowledge and experience.
Do you happen to know what Leander's level is?
I don't, but Leander's been around a long time, and I would be willing to say the same thing for Leander. I know Leander, I'm almost positive Leander has his junior, but at any point he would be considered probably a senior level, just if he's got certified and took it seriously based on how long he's been around.
For sure.
But I don't know that he has that interest. He mainly does it as a favor, or does it if he's running the tournament and doesn't want to pay somebody to do it himself, or pay anybody to do it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I asked because I know that he hosts that one at the Roadrunner every once in a while, like bronze versus
exactly.
Bulls versus bronze.
And he likes to referee, you know, and
yeah.
Matter of fact, it's funny. He texted me. He said, "Yo, who came up with those trash rankings? They don't even know my name, but they put me in there." Laughing face. I can't ever tell if he's serious, if he knows it's me or not. If he knows that I'm the one that came up to me and he's just like messing with me or not. Let's see if in this chat. I didn't read this. If you do full real.
Oh, did you post the rankings already?
I posted them in the group chat. I posted them on Facebook,
Nice.
and I posted them in the Arizona Arm Wrestling Rankings and Events group on Facebook as well, which is what's getting like blown up right now. So this live, I'll have to go check it out and see what's going on that. But yeah, I just think, you know, no disrespect. I mean, Greg, get your ass in here so I can talk shit to you.
He's just chat right now. Kevin Grip, you know, Cam, and the legendary Balkan jumping on. Thank you for John for doing the list. Thanks for taking initiative, man. That's very cool.
Hell yeah, dude. No, I just mean like Greg has so many things on his plate. He's got a full-time job. I ain't got no full-time job. I got time to do this stuff. And he gets asked a lot to update it. And when he does, he calls me anyway. So I figured, why not? I'll take initiative and I'll do this and see if anybody gives a shit. Because like it's the same thing I told Greg. If we do this and there's no effort amongst it and no one calls each other out and nothing happens and it just goes by the wayside, then what's the point of doing it all?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100.
I want to see some movement. I want to see some killers go after each other. I want to see some movement. You know what I mean? Not letting me join internet is trash. Damn.
That was kind of my idea with the belts. It was something physical they could hold and see, and you know, rankings it's a website or a piece of paper somewhere that people can forget about pretty easy. So
yeah, no, you're right.
But if it's attached to a rankings list too, I feel like if we can get the rules, like if you want best of 5, cool, weigh in that day, like whatever we can come up with, just it's like a little cherry on top, you know?
No, absolutely. No, I totally agree. Adding more to the prize just makes people want to take it more seriously. And that's why I mean, as soon as the 242s and the 155ers see that the 198's got a belt, you already know what do we got to do to get a belt.
Yeah.
Where's my belt?
And then, but to go back to whether the fucking tournaments count or not, I feel like tournaments are their own thing because people go there to get those medals, first, second, third.
Yeah.
Like they're their own bragging rights in a way. And I just feel like for them to affect the rankings list, because how it's bracketed and, you know, you get, it would just, I don't know. I just don't see it working. I see a lot of people being more pissed than happy about it.
Yeah, and you know, another thing is like when me and Greg created the very first list, the way that I wanted it was I only wanted it to be numbered up to 5. And then everybody under 5 is technically like ranked in order, but you don't have a number next to you because nobody gives a shit about you. Like you should only really care if you're in the top 5. If you're not in the top 5, you know, then you still have a goal to achieve. It's to getting into the top 5. I hate when people think I'm being a dick by saying that, when they're like, oh, you're not thinking about the number 9 guy or the number 16 guy. It's like, no, it's not. I'm not thinking about them. It's just that they're not in the conversation yet. No offense, but they've got a longer road to go. There's a reason that they're down there. Whether it's they haven't been here long enough, they haven't trained long, haven't been a part of it long enough, whatever it may be. It is what it is, but we all want to be the best. All of us are training as hard as we can to be the best. So all it means is you got to train harder. You know what I mean? It sucks, but that's the realistic part of a rankings list. When I first saw a rankings list, the very, very, very first time as an arm wrestler I ever saw a rankings list, I would have been happy to be on that bitch. You know what I mean? Let alone care if I was in the top 5. I never even thought I'd be in a top 5 anywhere. So, yeah, I just really think that what it comes down to is work. You want to be taken seriously, then get your ass off the couch and arm wrestle the next dude. and keep doing that and keep doing that and keep doing that. Greg, to answer your question, how do I get a junior rank for referee? So you can contact any advanced senior referee, which would be Tim Talmadge or Reza here in the States, and they can do a live Zoom with you. And basically what it is, it's an oversee of the rule set, and then it's a small quiz afterward, just basically going over your knowledge, your overall knowledge of arm wrestling. If you do not pass junior ranking for a referee, I'm literally kicking you out of the So Strong group chat, and I will remove you for the rankings because you've arm wrestled for 13 years. Is Joseph Morento really in 143, 155 class? Absolutely. He's like 5'5" max.
Sucks for you.
He normally probably 165, but he can always compete at 155.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, you go to the 220s and have a day.
Yeah, for real.
Day with Eric, man, at that Scottsdale, Fit Expo that we had last year.
And you know what's actually crazy to me is that he doesn't use a riser.
Sick,
dude. That dude uses a riser. He'll be 3% stronger. He doesn't even know it.
Yeah.
And he switched press at that expo.
Which, you know what helps exponentially with a press is more height standing on a riser.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like, just give him a riser.
No.
Bro.
Are we blessed right now?
Here we go.
There he is.
Yeah!
What up, everybody? John, you savage. Yes, bro.
Is that a spork?
Bro, I went to the Indian reservation in New Mexico. It's a bunch of French fries covered in like enchilada sauce with cheese.
Oh, that sounds fire.
It's so revolutionary.
You fat bitch. I thought you were losing weight though.
I've lost so much weight. I've been cutting hard as fuck. I was 208 the other day after eating 4 slices of pizza.
Oh, Greg.
Yeah, but I've been doing the 18-hour fast, 20-hour fast, and then 4-hour eating windows.
I got a 72-hour fast coming here in the next 2 weeks with a detox and a cleanse coming. I plan on dropping up to like 12 pounds, and I'm going to do a stomach reset where I basically clear my entire intestines out. And then for the next month and a half, all I'm going to reintroduce is chicken, rice, and like a very, very, very small amount of yeast.
Have you ever done a 72-hour before, John?
You said what?
Have you done a 72-hour fast before?
No, I'm probably going to die.
You'll be all right, man. I've done it. It's fantastic. You feel amazing. I lost 8 pounds on the first one I did. I drank water only.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nothing else. And I felt like a different person, dude. And by the third day, it was almost like I was watching myself, in like outside body experience, but once I put some food in me and small increments after that 72 hours, dude, don't just go scruff right away.
Now, my sleep is really bad because of my stomach, and it's just I'm getting to an age where I really need to start taking it seriously. So,
yeah, that fast will restart your microbiome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, big time.
Oh yeah. Yep. Hey, I just want to say, fucking good job on the list. I support it. I'm just, it was a little bit of a circus. A, not like zero fucking activity. B, I can only do it on my laptop, and I'm very limited to when I have internet over the road. So
yeah, and that's another thing that I was going to say is Greg was doing everything from a website. He had an actual website that he was doing it from. I'm not going that deep. I'm not doing that for all you motherfuckers. I'll make a list through a PDF and I'll splash that shit up and change it every so often. But, that was deep. Like he had it way more dialed in than I did.
From a semi truck, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm only home. I only sleep in my bed and see my girlfriend 4 times a month. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is go flip open that laptop and fuck with that free ass website.
Yeah, exactly.
when nobody's texting, when nobody's like active and shit.
No,
but,
I totally get it.
While we're on this live stream, I had a long conversation with Miguel and Wayne.
Okay.
And they didn't respond to that last 3-minute message. It was just, we were going back and forth talking about different things, and I'm just telling them my vision for AZ arm wrestling, or how I think call out should go. You know, like the thing with Steve might be number one, bro. I see he's fucking pinned John a few times, and John's just like, I'm out of here. And you know, Steve could honestly be number one, but if he doesn't want to be part of the thing and not participate, how does that work? You know what I mean?
You talking about Olmsted?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we had talked about this prior, and that's kind of, I don't know if you were listening at that point, but
I was. You want to see his hand go to the pad, but if he's just like already opting out,
right.
you know what I
And
mean?
to a certain extent. I mean, if it's very obvious that he's dodging, or he's not responding because he thinks he's gonna lose, well, then I'm gonna know. I'm gonna be on top of that shit. And I'm very good friends with a person like Steven. I feel like I'm pretty biased amongst the community. Not too many people hate me, so I can have pretty neutral conversation with everybody about that kind of stuff, as far as, hey, what's going on? Are you planning on taking a match? Are you injured? Is there something you don't want to, that you're not telling us? Won't put it in the chat, just keep it between you and me type of deal. And then we can come up with an answer for everybody else. I don't mind playing mitigator and like middleman to a certain extent, but it was really exhausting to have to do it for every single match, for every single person, to try to get matches going. You know what I mean? If you two have the wherewithal to say, hey, I want to challenge you, okay, cool, give me 2 weeks. That 2 weeks goes, and then they're like, okay, hey, you know what? Matter of fact, like 2 days before the match, hey, I gotta cancel, yada yada yada. Okay, well, that's your refusal. You only get it once. You know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
And going along with that is, if me knowing these people, a number 17 ranked people, or a number 17 ranked person calls out the number 2 guy or number 1 guy. If I think the guy who's running the rankings, if I think it's a match, well, then I'm going to take it seriously. But if I don't even take you seriously, then how do I expect that guy to take you seriously? That guy
exactly.
You know what I mean?
And so I know you said earlier, like, about getting a committee together, and I think that would be really good, and holding people accountable and policing people. Because what I told Wayne was this: I said, Wayne, you're not number one, dog. You're not. You got to show up to be number one. All right. Yeah. That's why I said. So, but like, if nobody ever went to a tournament from Phoenix, then yeah, Tucson would be, Aaron be number 1, Celso would be number 2 in the state, and then I'd be number 3 in the state. You know what I mean? We'd all be like kings of the universe if y'all didn't show up. But you got to show up. You got to participate. If you don't participate, then you're out. It's that simple. You got to show up to the fucking thing, dog. If you're not, nobody's forcing you to come. You just gotta like be here if you want to be here, and don't. And if you get called out, either you accept the match within the 2-week time limit, or you get moved down. Whenever you figure your shit out, whenever you're fucking ready, then you come back, and within 2 weeks you're gonna have a match.
Yeah, I think it's so funny that the people who get butthurt about the list are the people who are not going to be participating because they just want to be heard. It doesn't matter whether or not they're good or not. It's been a time-old thing that I've dealt with for the 3 years that I've been in arm wrestling. It's always been the case. So you can be a keyboard warrior, you can be a garage champion. That's fine. And I personally know how strong you are, because until I can beat you, or until I know what level of people around that can't beat you and can, then you know what I mean? But to me, it's like, okay, so this is a great example. Like the Aaron Blevins dude. I've never felt that dude ever. Never once in my life. You see where he's ranked?
Number 1.
He's a monster.
Number fucking
one. Yeah, that's a given. Yeah, that's a given. That's why I trust you. I'm like, dude, take over the list. Fucking do your thing, bro. Like, and the thing with the fucking referee test, dude, I already believed in you 110%. I don't need no fucking piece of paper to tell me that you're a pro. It's just experience. It's just experience, bro. You're out here doing it every day. If he's the main guy all the time, then he's the main guy. You know what I mean?
It definitely takes, to me, I'll say this. I've never said this, but I think there's a few things that really make a really good referee. Number one is clearly knowledge. Having knowledge of every part of the sport, as a competitor, as a referee, and as a spectator, what you want to see, what we are supposed to see. There's a fine line between it being for entertainment and it being for rankings, straight up and down money, whatever it may be, right? There's a big difference between opens and amateurs and how you should ref those kind of things. But to me, the biggest things are knowledge of the sport, someone having respect for you in some capacity. Whether it's they know they respect you as a referee, they respect you as a competitor, or they respect your knowledge. If you are respected, then you're going to do okay as a referee. And number three is love the sport. Just love and do it because you love it, not because you want a power trip. Like, I have seen so many arm wrestlers that couldn't be, I've seen so many referees that couldn't be arm wrestlers. So they're referees so that they can yell at arm wrestlers and tell people what to do and still be in charge of them and be the boss. And it's fucking embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be a part. My girlfriend said it the best last night. A referee should be like the table. I was like, oh my God. I was like, my girlfriend knows more about arm wrestling than like
it's them doobie snacks, bro.
But it's true. It should just be a part of the equipment. I really shouldn't even have to be there. You know what I mean? When Greg was talking about how like Steve and Monster were so hard to set up because you guys were so
I was sweating. I was fucking sweating. I was the third arm wrestler, bro.
and he goes, you know, why can't we all just be fucking gentlemen and straighten the fuck out and do what you know you're supposed to do? And I'm like, bro, trust me. Like, oh my God, like this is a ref's dream, is just to go, hey, you straighten your wrist. Hey, you do the same, and not have to get involved. But
that's where the fouls come in, John.
But me refereeing Freddie versus Tom.
Dude, that was a disaster, bro. Dude, that's where the fouls got to come in.
We all have them. We all get them. What it comes down to is, for that event, I didn't want to see someone lose off of fouls. Everybody was waiting to see those two arm wrestle and not me get involved. So I tried to get involved as less and as least as possible, with still trying to make it as fair as I could. Obviously, there were some things that some people got away with, but like I said, I really shouldn't even have to be there. The referee shouldn't really even have to be there when it comes down to the competition.
And Freddie talks about that a lot, John, is taking advantage of the referee or knowing the situation and exploiting it. And so afterwards, we were playing pool at the house, and Tom's like, you just fucked me, dog. And then Freddie's like, yeah, I know. You didn't even know what you were doing. He's like, I fucked you all day. But so then Tom's like, dude, Tom's just like, can you just like show me like how, like where, and then there they are at 2:30 in the morning, bro, high as fuck, just holding each other's hands. And Freddie's like, no, there you go. Yeah. Hey, but sorry to change the subject going back before I lose track because I have ADD. Holding people accountable. What do you think about that part? And if you're for it, how are you gonna police it? So like, I called this guy out, right? I gave him enough notice. If he can't make that date, we have to make it happen within 2 weeks, or we have to agree within 2 weeks for a date. How far out?
I think that you should have to come up. You two should mutually have to agree on a date within a 2-week period.
If I'm open for it all, if one person is open for everything and the other person can't come up with a date within 2 weeks,
That's it.
Yeah.
that's
I'd say that person drops in the rankings. He drops a spot.
They forfeit and they give you that spot, I think.
Okay.
Okay,
But
what?
But once again, do they have the refusal? Can they use their refusal?
If they respond in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
All right. So
Right.
what if somebody works every Saturday and
It
the
doesn't
other
have to be on
person
a
works?
Saturday.
Okay, I'm just giving you an example. 2 people want to arm wrestle, and they both have availability, but not when the other one's available. Match never happens.
That's not on me though.
True.
You know,
So
to me,
If I can give an opinion,
go ahead.
if I can give an opinion, my thought is this: if the challenger gets a response in the 2 weeks, and the person being challenged says, "Sure, but you have to come here for this to happen," you're trying to take my rank. Make it work for you.
Yeah, I personally think that's just how call-outs work. Hey, I'm calling you out, but you have to come to me. No, that is not how it goes.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
if
the
you
call
call
out
somebody
or
out, you call somebody
this
out,
is-
you obviously have to go to them. And then
we should just make that a rule. We should make that a rule.
it is a rule.
Because
That's for sure a rule.
Well, let Wayne know.
But once again, no one is ever gonna call Wayne out.
No, that's why I put Eric above Wayne.
But if someone calls Wayne out, they got to go to him. And Wayne would be more than happy to smash anybody's arm to the pad that goes and shows up in Miguel's driveway. I guarantee it.
I agree with that, but I'm talking about the top guys never fucking, creeping up. But then it comes back down to the activity part. I told Wayne, you'll probably beat everybody. You'll probably beat Eric. You'll probably beat Dustin. But we gotta see it, Papi. We gotta see it.
Last time I saw Eric and Wayne grip up, Eric beat him, and Wayne left pissed off. It was that gym, Liberty Gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
And
Wayne.
that's when I realized those motherfuckers had a beef with each other.
Yeah.
And then Wayne got him at Arizona State.
Oh,
So
did he?
why the first one in Tucson, yeah.
Oh,
that was a bad day for
Okay.
Eric. That was a bad day for Eric. He lost to Freddie and Wayne.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, that was a rough.
That's when John Bellick weighed 165. I didn't even recognize you the second time I saw you. You like gained so much weight from Tucson. I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, I was jacked. I had went from 219 to 205 in like 18 days. So I was so shredded. I was fucking popping everywhere. And I ran through that 205 class like nothing. That was the last time that they had done a 205 class, bro. When's the last time you've seen a 205 class?
Oof. Shit, bro.
I would love a 205 class. I'd live in that bitch. Oh.
Then you need to come to Nevada with it, because Vegas was 209.
One more time, Steve.
Vegas was 209. So go to Nevada State.
I can guarantee you, you will see in 2024, 90% of these promoters, A, drop off, or B, adopt Air's weight classes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ares. Hey, I was gonna say, are you sure it's not Ares, God of War? Because he's got a Spartan as the logo.
Yeah, but Ares, the logo or the Spartan is ARIES.
I know, but I think that he shortened it on purpose.
No, that's Ares. No, that's Ares. Because I know this because me and my lady, we agreed that if we had a son, we're gonna name him Ares, not Aries with an I. So
the God of War.
God of War is not spelled. The God of War is not spelled with an I. It's spelled Ares. And it's a Spartan. He's like, he looks like a Spartan.
I'm looking this up right now.
Do it. And we need a doobie snack.
Damn, you're right.
Because it's the difference between the zodiac sign and the god of war.
Okay.
Aries, the zodiac sign, is Aries.
Okay, but
Aries, god of war.
okay, so Eris is the god of war, no I. But Steve
Correct.
was pronouncing it Aries.
Which is correct, because with an I, it's Eris.
It's Aries. So now, if you take the R in Eris, like your son, like your unborn son, and you move it on the other side of the E, heirs.
I'm a PM Frank Callahan right now.
He's the one that said that. He's the one that you said.
No, but I know that he helped build Aries.
Yeah.
Oh
So
man,
I'm just gonna ask you.
I had to submit December 9th. God, bro, the PDF that guy sent me was ridiculous.
Oh, it's so hard. I had to do the Battle of Margaritas. It's like, Corey, oh my gosh, you poor soul.
Hey, Greg, who are you going to get to ref that Mexico event? Those guys.
I'm gonna have to pay.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to pay somebody. I want John to come, but I don't want him to come alone. I thought I was gonna ask Tim, because Tim told me if I ever needed help with anything to just call him. So I said, all right.
I just told Frank, how do you pronounce AERS? There is a big debate in AZ right now. So let's see what he says. Let's see what he says.
Okay. I love it.
Hey, that's really cool of Ben too, man. Ben saying that he's going to share the rankings on his website for Arm Combat. Very cool.
John, can I delete all the classes, do an overall list, and a picture of the updated one of yours? Love it.
I would love that.
So the rankings are going to be the same now? Greg, you're dropping your rankings and adopting the new one?
I'm gonna have an overall list and then John's thing right on the website.
Oh, I missed the overall part. Okay.
Oh shit! Did you guys see the group chat? Eric said he's gonna call out Dustin.
Yeah, he told me that. he's been sitting on that one for a while. Let's go.
That's pretty
Let's go.
That's pretty dope. Once again, that would not change anything because Eric weighs 220 pounds. I'm not going to put him above Dustin's 242 plus. All that's going to do is let everybody know Eric is the strongest person in Arizona. So realistically, you know who that's going to affect? Greg.
Overall.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. Correct. So, Greg, as soon as you can, you should put in the group chat that you're going to be doing an overalls list, and that will be affected. You know what I mean?
I'm setting up my new $3,000 computer this weekend, and once I do that,
hell yeah,
I will pay for the website, and then bada bing, bada boom.
Love that.
Mm-hmm. Anyone excited for the East versus West qualifier in Battle of the Brave?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah,
very much.
I think I'm going to get asked to ref that, and I'm not going to. Because forgive me if I'm mistaken, but that's Battle of the Brave, isn't it?
Yeah, and so we're just morphing it into like a bigger event.
Yeah, I was Battle of the Braves head referee last year.
I don't have to wear a kilt, do I?
Nah, not this time. No.
Is it not? It's not going to.
Last time.
Is it? Is it not at Highland Games? It is.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna get tents. We're gonna get tents. The promoter, he wants to do it outside. Him and Paul Lynn, they've been having a lot of success on the East Coast at outside events, where like festivals and stuff.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's to grow arm wrestling. So they're kind of wanting to move outside of the bar setting, and I get it.
I get it because people. I love that.
Yeah, and if it's solely for growing arm wrestling, I agree with that strategy. Like, get as many eyes as you can, hit as many different festivals as you can. I don't give a shit if it's, you know, the twirling the thing festival or over there festival. Hey, whatever. Exposure, exposure, exposure.
No,
So
you're right.
big expos and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Battle of the Brave was the second best Arizona tournament I've ever been to. It's better than
Yeah, it was pretty.
It's better than the state fair. It was better than the Rage in the Cage thing that I didn't go to, but that I saw Scott Wynn and all them do. Yeah, dude, I think that the Battle of the Brave was dope. The only thing is I'm not refereeing. So I just hope that I'm not expected to ref, and he texts me a week and a half prior. Because
I don't know who we're gonna get, but I think Dustin was gonna call Reza, and I don't know who else.
Yeah, because I'm definitely competing this year. I didn't compete last year at Battle of the Brave because that's right when I was hurt and not feeling so hot.
Yeah, and then you know, I don't know who you're thinking for the committee. I'm not expecting to be on it. If I'm on it, cool. I'm always gonna do my part for AZ. But as a committee, as a group, you know, joint effort. There's Tim's fucking badass event, which I love and I'm proud of, because let's be honest, 3-4 years ago you couldn't even get 10 people to show up for a tournament, so there was no tournaments.
Yeah.
Now you got Tim fucking blowing it out like so awesome. But I think for like an expedited ranking or expedited list moving, fucking just straight up Phoenix, Tucson, AZ tournament. Quick, real quick. At that place, at that church. The guy said we can use it whenever we want.
There's no reason why we should not be throwing more tournaments. There's nothing that holds us back. It doesn't have to just be Arizona State every single year. What it comes down to is a joint effort, like Greg said. And I will say this, and I think this should probably be one of the last points because it's a very good point. I put Battle of the Margaritas on 100% across the board out of my own pocket. Every single thing that had to be paid for, I paid for. And it wasn't hard. I'm sick of hearing that it has to be this massive thing. It doesn't. Battle of the Margaritas had 70 people there in-house watching. It did a great video. If I would have got a live stream, it would have done even better. You don't need anything else. So in my opinion, we should be having 6 or more a year. But it does take a joint effort. It does take multiple hands to make it want to happen, because I will, along with me saying with that Battle of Margaritas, I will never do that shit again alone. Although I did it all, it was hard. It was not a good, fun time for me. You know what I mean? So if I had 3 people helping me with it, 4 even, then yeah, I feel like it would be a very, very easy conversation. And with the committee, maybe that's something that we do. We would just have to find a bigger gap in the year that Arizona doesn't have going. So, for instance, currently January and February are training months. We have a big one in March. The very beginning of March is that East versus West qualifier. So Arizona preps for 2 months for this one tournament. Then you have April, May. So you have another 2 training months. And then you have
June 1st,
which comes Arizona State. Okay. So if you want to do any out-of-state training, or I'm sorry, out-of-state competing, it's in April, May, or it's sometime after June. So based on how people were competing last year and leaving as a group, Vegas, Utah, Colorado, I wanted to make sure that I didn't plan anything during the times that I knew people were going to compete. for instance, I have this 165 man round robin that I want to work on with Dustin. I really want to see that come to light, and I really want to see that happen. So I'm really gonna help Dustin coming up with a time that makes sense and everything, because that only really affects one weight class. But it's
he told me about that too, and all my 165 guys, their game. I asked them. I said, "Are you guys willing to commit to that at some point this year?" And those guys, they said yes.
Yeah, I think that's one of the bigger, along with the 220-ish weight. I think that's one of the bigger weight classes that has a lot of potential to really mix things up as far as who's in it and who can make things. Bro, just Joseph, Aaron Blevins, Kirby, and D'Anthony alone. And then you start throwing Brugger in the mix. You start throwing Donald Mata in the mix. You start throwing Ben Corinne in the mix. You start throwing some of these other people. Dude, it could be really interesting. I can tell you who I think takes first and second, but I literally can't tell you who I think after that. It could be a big mix-up. So
that's exciting.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited for
Justin loves having everyone at our church warehouse. We will have more coming soon.
Same thing. You get him involved, and then you got a venue. But so yeah, I think it would probably have to be after June sometime, unless it's not something that's really, really big or anything like that. But when it comes to a tournament, when you use the word tournament, you're inviting everybody. And that's the thing about the difference between throwing a super match event or throwing a round robin, is when you throw the tournament, or I'm sorry, when you throw the round robin or the super match, anybody could come to watch. But when it comes to having 110 entries, that's a lot of work. Greg will tell you that's a lot of fucking work to get everybody weighed in, to get everybody's entry, to get everybody on page, on par. That's a much, much, much bigger task. And when you do a tournament, you're basically saying everybody that wants to can compete. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna be buying Corey's system, and then it's all offline. I'm able to do it offline, so the internet won't crash. And yeah, man, we should like the community. We should just police everybody for activity. If you're doing call outs and someone doesn't, okay, well, I couldn't make it that week. Great, dude. Call him out next month. Whatever. He's taking the spot right now.
Yep. We have a historical moment here on the live right now. I am going to induct Gregory Brown as the first member of the Armtillery committee.
Golf clap.
Only because I need a Tucson representative. That's the only reason. No, hell yeah. No, I definitely think we have to have a Tucson guy. And there's nobody that would make more sense. So, yeah. So, once again, that makes things easier for me, because now your Tucson guys have a representative that they can go to when they do have questions, and not everything has to go directly to me. You know what I mean? You can answer those questions that maybe that they don't know, but you know what I mean? All these kind of things. So,
yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate it. And, this kind of stuff, like Dino was saying, thank you for taking the initiative. And, I'm not going to lie, I was slacking on the list, but a lot of people weren't calling me. So, why should I give a shit if they don't give a shit,
Straight up.
And it's you taking the initiative. Now we got 4 people in the chat. Now we're talking about committees. Now we're talking about shit. So everything is growing. Our state's growing, our sport's growing. And, if we keep at this, who knows how good it could be,
Yeah, and it was very close to what happened last year. We had all those super matches happening. We had a lot of excitement and movement. And I think, once again, beginning of the year, there's never a better time to get everybody really hyped up about that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I couldn't agree more, man.
Yeah, and all my guys we're getting our asses kicked on December 9th. They're like, I have never seen Tucson this fired up in 11 years. They're like, damn, we got fucked up. Oh my god.
When I joined the sport, Guerrilla Arms was the strongest overall team because of who you guys had, but you guys weren't very big. Like you guys only had like 12 people. I think you guys have like somewhat close to like 30 people in Guerrilla Arms now, bro. Like that's pretty nuts.
We have about 30, and then it's like 15 regulars.
Yeah, but still, I mean, just Tucson itself growing, and you see it. You know what I mean?
It's all exciting news for Arizona wrestling, baby.
What's the tentative date for this? Armtillery rankings? Is that what we're gonna call it? Armtillery ranking tournament?
Oh yeah, I mean, if we ever do a tournament, I want it to be, you know, I want it to be something that everybody goes to, because there's so many times at tournaments that people are like, oh, I know it's just going to be local Arizona guys. Why am I going to go compete for that?
Because so that's the point. Because we have Tim's thing, which is like national. Now we need something just for local rankings and local smack talk and settle beef and figure out, like you said, to test yourself. Like every year, I know I can depend on that date to see where I am at my local state level, and I don't want to get tired out with some pro from Florida or fucking, California. I only want to go against the guys on that one fucking list.
Well, and I think there's not a better way to do it than with this guy's belt.
That's right.
For that weight class.
Yeah.
Or we're doing belts.
But were you listening when me or Clayton were talking about how, like, when he puts that belt out, bro, every weight class is going to be like, where's my belt? I want a belt. You know what I mean? So what we're going to do is, if the first belt is successful with the 198s, the next weight class will have a round robin to determine the winner, and there will be entries to get into the round robin, which will pay for the belt. Then every single weight class could have a belt if we wanted to. There would just need to be enough traction and want from that to happen. First things first, it first takes someone like Clayton who is saying, look, I want to put my belt up against yada, 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 but I'm coming up with the belt. This belt is mine. You got to take it from me. You know what I mean? Clayton knows he's not the strongest person, number one, in his weight class. He's just taking the initiative to buy it in the first place. To make
it more spicy. Yeah.
Right. And he's holding every single arm wrestler of Arizona accountable too. Same thing. If these weight classes, if you're in a weight class and you love this thing with the belt, keep on throwing money in, guys. Make it happen. Let's go.
Yeah. You got to pay to want to play. You know what I mean?
And it'd be the same idea too, that like that belt can't fucking sit in somebody's garage forever. Like, if no one's challenging and you're not calling people out yourself, then you probably got to drop. You know what I mean? Or you get injured, or you're just stagnant. That belt's got to move. And it's with the idea too, Greg, that shit can travel all the way to Tucson. You guys come up here, we go down there, and that shit might stay in Tucson.
Aaron's training, dog.
Hey, I want his right next, dude. But yeah, either way, man, it should be fun. And so with this Armtillery, is it going to be an event super match, or is this are you guys talking about tournament for that rankings of the Armtillery rankings?
No, we're just talking about in general with tournaments. When it comes to tournaments, okay, so I'll use a great example to kind of make things make a little bit more sense. Okay, so in California, you have the UAL that's thrown by Bill Collins. And these are like the biggest of the big California tournaments. And he only throws, I think, like 3 a year. But everybody from California comes out of the woodworks for it. Like fucking everybody. Because you know how big California is. It's massive, right? You got your northern half and you got your southern half. For the UAL tournaments, everybody comes out for those tournaments. But then you have people like the Compound. That's an arm wrestling team, and they throw like 8 tournaments a year. They throw a bunch, and a majority of the time, only one half of the state shows up for those tournaments. Sometimes the northern guys show up if they don't have anything going or if they're bored or whatever. But for the most part, those small teams are throwing tournaments just to throw more ready goes, just to have more tournaments, just to have more activity, to have more finding out of who's who's better, these kind of things, right? And that's exactly what me and Greg are talking about doing, is being one of the smaller groups like the compound. Obviously, Tim has his Arizona State every single year that everybody takes very seriously. You got Larry Wheels, Sandra Settis, the Latvians, everybody coming out of the woodworks. But then why can't 3 times a year we have just some smaller tournaments that happen that don't have to be so sponsored and don't have to be so massive? I have no problem being a part of or throwing those and having Armtillery's name on them. Once again, is it going to be specifically for these rankings? No. I mean, they'll move and they'll change based on what we talked about earlier with the tournament constituents. And stuff.
What about so you're saying have more tournaments? And yeah, I like it. There's no reason why we can't do 3 more a year, smaller ones. But what if one of those 3 are dedicated to Arizona residents only? And that way, once a year, okay, that's where I'm going to go snipe that fool. Or that's where I'm going to get those 2 guys above me. Or whatever the case may be.
I personally look at that as Arizona State. I personally think if you're an Arizona arm wrestler and you don't go to the state's biggest arm wrestling tournament, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Now, like you're saying, there's a very good chance that you don't even get to arm wrestle that person because of how big the class is and how many other people go. But what it comes down to is, like, right now, that's all we have to do that. If we created something like that, then yeah. But at the same time, that has to go on for years in order for us to say, hey, this is what that's going to be. Once again,
no, I'm just saying, just throw a regular old tournament, but only for Arizona people.
No, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. What I'm saying, what I think you're saying is for it to specifically count for the rankings, right?
Yeah.
Well, the only problem with that is even before we had the live, what we were talking about as far as tournaments not always counting towards the wins. Some would. A lot of movement would come from that tournament and those things. But like I said, and we talked about before you got on here, like, there's a lot of ways that you can get a win in a tournament and it not mean that you're better than that person or you should take that person's ranking. You know what I mean? In my opinion.
But we're talking about just doing more events in general and holding people accountable for super matches. We could offer a variety. So there's Tim's event. We do 3 margarita type tournaments where everyone's invited. And then one of those 3 is just something more consolidated. But I mean, that's something we could talk about. But I feel like everything's just a positive at this point. Just more is better.
Yeah. More arm wrestling, more events, more tournaments, more super matches, more people pulling. There's no way you're not going to know who lies where with more and more activity, as long as people are pulling and you're getting people to move. And that brings me, and we'll end on this note, but this brings me to what Clayton had brought up earlier, as far as like a belt holder not getting challenged. That could get pretty sticky, bro, because let's say this happens a lot in MMA. Okay. Let's say Ron King comes out of retirement and takes that 198 belt because he knows he can. And then the number 2 guy calls him out and Ron King slaps him. And the number 3 guy comes out and calls out Ron, and Ron King slaps him.
But yeah, if he keeps winning, then he fucking keeps that thing in his garage.
But listen, I'm getting to a point. But then everyone else just gets bored. And everyone's like, I'm not calling out Ron because it's such a far gap. I know that there's nothing I can do. There's going to become a point. Like right now, I can tell you there isn't any super heavyweights in Arizona that can beat Dustin Allen.
Yeah.
Not one. And it's a pretty big gap. It's a pretty big gap. So Dustin would be sitting with that belt for quite some time. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's another hard thing is like because the elites are elite and they train so much, everyone's sprinting. So
Yeah.
if I'm fucking training, 365 every year, like, like a cycle like Devin Larratt, but so is the guy in front of me, it could take me years to close that gap.
Yeah.
And I gotta work twice as hard as someone who's already full time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you guys are saying with that too. At the same time, it's not
So
like I don't want to be like, oh, you can't
go
get
ahead.
it. You're too
Yeah,
strong.
no, for sure. Yeah.
Guys, I'm sorry to cut this short, man, but I gotta go. I gotta go
All
do
right,
some
man.
family things. All right.
All right,
Thanks
Steve.
again,
Take it
everyone.
easy, bro.
Take care. Love you
Later.
guys.
Later,
Thank
guys.
you, bro. So yeah, for sure, man. I think we got a lot figured out, and I think like you said, it's all positives from here. We just keep the ball rolling and make sure everybody's staying active. And see you, Clayton.
Keep growing, man. You're killing it.
Thanks,
Killing
dog.
it. Everyone's excited. That's what we need.
Hell yeah. All right, bro. I'm gonna go love on my lady. I'll text you.
Later, dog. Peace
All right,
out.
brother. Thanks everybody for joining. It's been real.